Good morning, Max. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Julien. How are you? How's Paris? How's the evening?
It's a good day. Bad memories, but good day. Today I was thinking, let's skip the mailbag and all of this. I have concerns of my own that I need to share, I guess, if that's okay with you.
That's what we're here for. Why don't we hop you on the couch and let's talk.
Today's story, I have very mixed feelings about it because ultimately a fantastic experience. I'll keep memories for years. But it's just a process of getting there that was painful. I've been hesitating on whether I wanted to do name dropping or not. I'm not going to do name dropping, but anyone who knows the place well enough will know exactly what it is I'm talking about. A few months back now, I went back to Hong Kong, where I've spent a decade prior to coming back to motherland. And in Hong Kong, you don't have 50 amusement parks. You basically have 2. One of which is absolutely amazing. It is amazing because the price is affordable. I mean, compared to what we pay in France or what you guys pay in the US.
Yeah, we're doing a family trip to Disneyland. Woo, baby.
So very much affordable. The park is beautiful. Half of it is at the bottom of a mountain. The other half is on the top of the mountain. And you got to take either underground train or cable car to get all the way to the top. You got these beautiful roller coasters that bring you over the ocean. The view is just breathtaking all over the place. And because an amusement park of its own was not good enough, they are also a gigantic aquarium where you have plenty of sharks and octopuses and plenty of things. It's really beautiful place. And they also happen to be the only place in Hong Kong where you can see pandas. And we know that pandas are very rare nowadays. So that's always a good thing when you're with kids to be able to go and see a panda sleeping, because it's really what they're doing most of the time. So amazing experience, very affordable. Unfortunately, they suffered a lot from the COVID. They are in a tough spot right now. They really don't want to shut down, and I don't think anyone wants them to shut down, but they had to close a few of the games you could play there, just because I'm guessing the maintenance fee is too expensive, right? It's not a fun fair, it's an amusement park, meaning that you pay the entrance and then everything beside food and beverage is actually free inside the park. So the experience I wanted to share was not about the park itself, because again, amazing. It's about the process to, not even to buy tickets, which was not necessarily the easiest thing to do, but the process to buy a ticket was okay. But we had to go through a process I'd never experienced before, which is you have to reserve your spot. Meaning they're so concerned they might be overcrowded and they don't want to turn people down, that they've created this brilliant system where after you buy your ticket, and only after, you can't do it before that, you go online and you start registering your people to say you will come at a specific date, specific time. And you can do it in batches of 4 people only. So if your group is 10, you're going to have to do 4, 4, and 2, or however you want to split it. And until you go through the process, you don't actually know whether there is any available space for you to come on that specific date. So you register the first 4 people. Yay, that's working. There is space for these 4 people. Then you have to register the next 4 and hope there is still space for this other 4. And then the next batch, one after the other. Now, this system being still too simple, they made it in a way that is not just you give your ticket number or you scan something or you have an app. No. We're back to the 80s. Probably early 2000, to be fair, where you got to enter the specific 20,000 digits number of each ticket, followed by your first name, your last name, your birth date, your actual ID card number, and God knows what else you have to enter in the system. by one.
ID
And you're
card,
wondering
like
why on earth do you need that?
passport or
Whatever ID document you've got with you. Hong Kong is
okay,
a place
okay,
with tons of tourists, so I'm guessing passport would work just as well.
okay.
You gotta enter all of this one by one. Hope
Oh,
for the best that there is actual space. Then once you're done with all this, you get this nice little warning message saying, you've selected you would come on Monday at 10 a.m. The 4 people in your batch have to show up in the same time. We can't let 3 people go through and wait for the other. So you guys have to make it happen on time. Then comes a message from my sister-in-law saying, oh, by the way, I won't be able to be here at that time. So, but you guys go first. Well, now we can't. So now you have to spend an amazing amount of time trying to find out, how do I actually change the time? Oh, I can't. All right. So I got to go through the system to cancel the 3 batches and redo the whole thing over again. Again, hoping that there is still space because you still don't know it before you go through the entire process.
right. Oh my God.
So we had to do this twice. Then showing up on the day, I don't know how, really don't know how they spotted us as those guys must have the QR code that's needed for groups. So they told us to come this way. They scanned the QR code and say, oh, we actually haven't mentioned it yet on the website, but this whole process is no longer relevant. You did not have to do this. And at that point, I was, why do you even tell me that? Don't tell me that. Tell me next time you will no longer need it, or just don't say anything at all. But
Right.
why?
Just yeah. Go ahead and I won. I did the painful thing.
So yeah, that's the story. Ultimately, the rest of the day, fantastic. The park is just amazing. The kids have loved it. The price is affordable. The food is, amusement park food. What do you expect? But it's acceptable.
Fine.
But that's just this. Why having such an advanced experience for people in the park and such a painful experience to get there, especially when you are in a situation where you're on the verge of bankruptcy because of the whole COVID situation? You should do everything you can to make it as simple as possible for people to be keen to join. Don't add unnecessary obstacles on the way of people coming in. So that's my story. What do you make of it?
Oh, that's just so. That's so bad. I'm not sure there are any lessons there, honestly. Just other than don't do it. A couple things strike me. One, I wonder if that whole process came about during COVID because their capacity got limited. So making it really hard to get in was a way to kind of have people, you know what, let's go to the beach. This is too much trouble. The thing to me that just hearing you tell it put a knot in my stomach is I've got 10 people. I register the first 4, great. I register the next 4, great. The next 2 don't get in. Then what do you do? And I mean, that's just completely untenable. It's okay to, you know, if they were to say, you know, here's 10 people, here's a window 442 or whatever that we can do for you. Do you want that? And then you go through all the pain of filling all that in. But oh my God, what a absurd, ridiculous, and backward process.
Because I'm thinking, you're probably right. It's probably because of COVID. They probably asked for your ID number because of Hong Kong regulation. I can't think why, but maybe COVID again. Someone gets sick, you want to contact the others, so you need some kind
Contact
of
tracing,
tracking.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably that's the reason. Not good, but they probably is not really their problem. They probably just following regulations. Where I disagree with the process is we've had 3 years of pandemic. Everyone struggled on the first year to figure out how to reinvent yourself, how to work from home, how to change your website, how to change your processes. It was painful for everyone. Everyone can be forgiving the first year, but it has been over 3 years now. So there are 2 things here, really. There is improving the process. It could have been terrible the first year. You should have been able to do minor changes. It doesn't take that much. We're not talking about building a fancy billion-dollar website, right? It's a simple process to fix. It doesn't even have to be pretty, and God knows it was not pretty anyway. It doesn't have to be pretty to be convenient. But the other thing is, if it's not even relevant, why do you tell people to do it? Why do you have to put your people through these various hoops to finally tell them, oh, you didn't need that? That's a worse experience you could bring.
Yeah, that was the next thing I was going to get to is, I think you had the exact right thing is, okay, you changed it. I don't have to do it, but I did it. Don't tell me. Maybe even say, hey, starting next week, you won't have to do this. So if you ever come back, gosh, won't that be great? But I just want to cry. It's so painful.
Because what I'm thinking here is that's a story about an amusement park. Ultimately, an hour of pain for 8 hours of enjoyment with the kids. That was worth it. But the same thing probably happens in a bunch of different industries where you make the purchase system or the deployment process so complex that you actually get your customers upset before they even start enjoying your product. And testing your own system from time to time is probably what you have to do. It's completely regardless of whether you're in the amusement park industry or any other industry. The onboarding process is incredibly crucial, and that's really one thing to keep in mind.
I agree with that. And the other thing that strikes me, just because I've had a couple of conversations about it lately, is pricing and packaging. I see so many software packages where it takes a PhD to understand what this pricing and packaging, what I'm going to pay and what I need. And but I want this feature and not that feature and that feature, not this feature. And suddenly there's just no way to get all of that put together. It's
actually, now that you bring this up,
unnecessary complexity, I think, is your bottom line here.
I'm glad you bring the packaging thing, because packaging was terrible as well. Meaning you had all these different packages on the website that look so similar, you would not understand what is different from one to the other. And then you get these sites, the Groupon-like websites that tell you get that much discount, use this code, and you get the code in the system, and it's actually exactly the same price. So what is the added value? What do you guys... I just want tickets. Give me tickets for elderlies, tickets for adults, and tickets for kids. That's all I need. Forget about the packages, or at least make it super simple if you really want to bring packages with added value, but don't make the whole thing a hassle. I just want to enjoy it.
So I do want to ask, you said an hour spent on this. It must have been a lot more than an hour. How long did you spend doing this?
We probably spent a fair couple of hours comparing all the offers online a couple of days earlier to try to make sense of it. Probably spent no more than 20 minutes to buy the actual tickets and another 45 minutes to register, plus another 30 minutes to cancel the whole thing and re-register everyone the second time. Because you never have the 10 people around you to give you their ID number, right? And that's not something you would have memorized anyway. So yeah, painful, very painful. But for anyone going to Hong Kong, just don't go through that process. The park is fantastic. You should definitely go there. Just go for the standard package and don't bother checking in.
Useful advice.
Well, I do feel much better. I don't know if we've helped people, but I do feel much better about it.
Yeah, this is one where I think the deepest learning is don't do that.
Exactly.
But all right, well, I'm glad you feel better. Sorry to hear it, but enjoyed the tale. We'll talk soon.
We will definitely do that again next week. Got plenty of other painful stories to share with you. Thank you so much for listening, Max, and I will talk to you next week.
All right. Thanks, Julien.
Bye.